Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to show you two of the most common ways to edit files in Linux. We'll start with the simplest way, using the text editor Nano. Then introduce the second most common way, using Vim. I'll keep the Vim section to a minimum, as I do have an ongoing playlist, but I will show you the basics to get you started. Let's jump right in. Open the file by running Nano and the path to the file. Here are the main sections. The top line is where you can see the program version and the file you are editing. The main editing window is where you move your cursor and make your changes to the file itself. A status line where Nano will give you some very helpful information. And these bottom two rows are also helpful for giving us some of the Nano shortcuts. Something I'd like to also point out, if I decrease the font size of the terminal, it will expose more Nano shortcuts. We'll go into how to read them in a moment, especially these two. And I'll also show you how to get a full list of all Nano shortcuts if you want to become more effective and efficient with this editor. And to edit the file is really simple. You move the cursor around, type to add, delete to remove. It doesn't get more simple than that. Now if we look at the bottom, we have a bunch of shortcuts. Anytime you see this caret symbol, that means you hit the control key first, then the letter that follows. As an example, we'll move our cursor to this line and use Control K to cut the line. Then we'll go to the top and paste it with Control U. And anytime you see a M dash, this is called the meta key, and this is the Alt key on your keyboard. So to undo our actions, we can do an Alt U a few times, and to redo, we can run Alt E a few times. Now to get more information from within Nano, you can access the help page by hitting Control G. I won't go through everything, but as you can see, there are a lot of more tricks that you can do within Nano. The left column are the shortcuts, which we now know how to read, and the right are alternative keys, or alternative shortcuts. And to exit, we can see that Control X is the way to do it. I'll choose to save the buffer and attempt to override the file, which I can't do due to lack of permissions. So I'll exit again and choose no. This should get you going with Nano and is very valuable for the beginner. But when you're ready to move on to Vim, here's how to get started. Like Nano, you can call a file with Vim. When you first launch Vim, you are placed into what's formerly called normal mode. It's sometimes called command mode, and I used to call it that a lot. But moving forward, I'm going to use its formal name. I always teach people to think of normal mode as home base. Whenever you are lost in Vim, always go back to home base first. This will be more obvious in a minute. When you are typing Vim commands in normal mode, your keystrokes are echoed on the bottom, slightly right of center. It's usually a blink and you'll miss it for a single keystroke, like moving your cursor down one line at a time with the letter J, or one page at a time with Control F. But commands that require combinations are easier to spot. For example, if you want to jump down 10 rows with the letter J, or 3 pages with Control F. Now when you want to edit the file itself, you have to enter another mode called Insert Mode. And you enter Insert Mode by typing I. Vim will tell you are Insert Mode, and you start typing like any other text editor, using the arrow keys to move, delete, etc. However, if you need to go back into normal mode, just hit the escape key. This will exit you from insert mode and put you back into normal mode. There is another mode called command line mode, and those commands are echoed on the bottom left of your screen. You enter command line mode by first being in normal mode, then hit colon, and from here, fire away. You can add line numbers, run your write and quit commands, set and unset, many other options. And to exit command line mode, hit the escape key. Now the way to exit Vim is by making sure you are in normal mode first, always start at home base, and run the quit command. Now because we made changes to the file, Vim won't let us exit until we make a decision on whether to save the changes that we made or override and discard the changes with an exclamation mark. I'll choose to override and discard all of the changes. And there you have it. Nano and Vim are the most common ways to edit files in Linux. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day.